Hello, welcome to a brand new special Unsourced Wall unboxing. I know it's been quite a while since I did one of these, but I was waiting for all of these to finally arrive so I can do them all at once because this is definitely something that needs to be done as a set. And I'm talking about the recently released brand new HIYA Toys Judge Dredd line Dark Judges. We're talking about Judge Death, Judge Mortis, Judge Fear, Judge Fire, got the whole gang. And you know what, let's dig into it. Let's start with Judge Death himself. Now what I want to comment on first is that the packaging is honestly pretty astounding. It's got the giant Judge Dredd badge right there, and it's entirely kind of kitschy. It feels like the kind of thing you would find like from an old school kind of toy where they have weird packaging to really sort of sell what line and what universe, what character these are. And so it's kind of a shame to have to open these because it's not like collector-friendly packaging where like you can kind of slip it open. Now we're going to have to rip this open, and it's a little bit unfortunate because of how unique and fun the design of the packaging is. So here we have Judge Death out of the packaging. As you can see, I really had to sort of demolish this. It's stuck on there. There's no way around it. So if you want to keep these in the box, you know, that's totally understandable. But you're going to have to like really rip into it to actually kind of get a handle on this. And this is a 4-inch scale figure. HIYA Toys is very well known for those. They've done a bunch of them. They've done it for like RoboCop, Alien, Predator, a whole bunch of franchises. They recently just started doing the Judge Dredd franchise, the 2000 AD kind of stuff. And they had Dredd out. They're planning to do Judge Hershey, Mean Machine, a couple of vehicles. So it's a whole big thing. And Judge Death and the Dark Judges have obviously made the cut because they're such iconic villains, and I love them. I think that the currently ongoing strip by Kek-W and Dave Kendall is quite spectacular. But yeah, here we have Judge Death in all his glory, all of his spindly glory, and he balances well. He's got very, very kind of gaunt, awkward limbs. You see he has a great range of motion despite, a few articulation points and obviously the scale. He's got a lot of expressiveness with his articulation. So you can get him in some really fun poses that really sort of give him some character and personality. The shoulder padding kind of gets in the way a bit. I'm not quite sure. That is movable. That's an entirely separate piece, but it's very, very tight on the shoulder, on the elbow, I mean. So it can get in the way. You just got to swivel it out, and I think you're good. You're golden. Like, you can hold a nice pose, but what you do get, and you get this with all the HIYA toys, you get a little stand. It only has one peg in it, and you can see it's a Dead World stand. Apocalyptic, dried out wasteland kind of texture with a bunch of bones and corpses. Very evocative of what Dead World looked like in the classic 2000 AD strips that premiered the characters. And his peg hole is right in the middle of the sole of the foot. Alright, I didn't expect that. I was kind of thinking it'd be in the heel. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he really needs it, but, because he seems so lightweight, it could be a bit of an issue. So if you want the extra security, that'll be fine. And I think these probably would look better sideways, One thing that HIYA Toys does, and it's kind of like their little trademark, is that each of these stands they include has little posts and little connectors, so that if you get multiple ones, even across lines, these are all uniform, across all their figures, you can connect the bases. So, that's nice. And I'm definitely going to do that with the 4 judges here. I'm not quite sure. Maybe they all have the same base. That's more than likely, honestly. But yeah, that's nice. Looks like he's got a nice little kind of texture there. He also comes with a couple of other accessories. And what he has is unchangeable hands. One for each hand, and one is specific to an other accessory he has. So let's get those. They pop out really simply. But it kind of knocked him off of his stand. So he doesn't really stick onto the post of that stand all that securely, unfortunately. Okay, so now we have him with both his alternate hands on. They're both kind of grasping, kind of claw hands, while his main hands are more kind of sedate, almost semi-open palm hands. So it is nice. It gives him a little bit more extra kind of attitude. Now, one of them is actually this really bloody kind of grip hand, and that's meant for the final accessory, which is this, bloody heart, which presumably he's ripped out of someone's chest. And I think the heart can honestly rest in either of the kind of open kind of grip hands, probably even this one too. if you kind of angle it right, because there's no post that really sort of plugs it into that specific hand. In fact, it just kind of rests there, leveraged, so doesn't have a really good grip on it. And the texture and the material for the hands are all very kind of, rubbery, so it's really not going to be in there of any security. But it looks nice, and I think this is really awesome. See, it kind of falls off. More balance is in his grip than anything else, but I think it looks really awesome. He's got a great range of motion, and I think it captures the look of the character insanely well. The detail on these HIYA toys is my first HIYA toy, but I've seen a couple around. These are just astounding, and you can see even the back, they don't really skimp on anything. The detail, the texturing, the paint job, it's all honestly insanely impressive. I just wish that it felt a little bit more, I don't know, secure. I think that's basically what I'm getting at. Maybe if I turn it around and put it on the other foot, it'll be more secure there. See, that seems like more of a good fit than the other one. I think that this hole right here is just not working. But other than that, yeah, it's great. And now let's move on to the next. All right, so here we have Judge Mortis. Now, I'm not going to really sort of spend time on each of the packaging. I guess one thing I should have noted is that each of them comes with a little bit of what looks like Brian Boland art, or very Brian Boland inspired art from 2000 AD, which is great. I might keep these little labels. They come right off the packaging, just for the novelty's sake. But here we have Judge Mortis. And again, the detail and kind of the sort of the amazing sort of intricacies of this is incredible. And I think Judge Mortis is probably one of the most sort of awe-inspiring releases from this pack. Because look at this. I didn't even notice this. You can't really see this from looking at the packaging, and I'm not quite sure if it shows up on camera, but he has these giant gouges in his leg, like these giant holes, like these giant holes, like he's kind of like been decomposing, so he's just kind of rotting flesh, which I think fits with the whole Mortis theme, that an extra mile. Like, you didn't need to do this. You could have obviously just reused the Judge Def legs, which I think they might have. Let me just compare these two. It looks like they might have at least had some of the same base mold, but they've obviously very much made it more Mortis, which is incredible. Other than that, it's pretty much the same kind of body type shared among most of these Dark Judges. That very spindly, very thin, gaunt kind of body. Except for Judge Mortis here, he doesn't have the shoulder elbow guards right there. And like even on the chest, he's got like eaten away, and it's like fully detailed. It's fully molded in. That is incredible. Like, you don't really need to do that for a 4-inch figure, but HIYA Toys is definitely going the extra mile, which I'm honestly super appreciative of. Let's get him on his stand here, and he comes with two other hands as his only accessories. I think that Judge Mortis is like the only one that doesn't come with like this really dedicated accessory to his own, which I think might be because of how intricate the design is. The amount of texturing and detail and plastic they really need to expend for a design like Mortis, like even has like this little rubbery tail. It's insane. There's nothing we can add on here that would keep them in line price scale wise with the others, and that makes sense, and I totally respect and understand that, because he is just a joy on his own. Now, like the others, the main two accessories has are these two kind of almost kind of gripping hands, and these are 100% reused, or not even reused. It's a little bit different there. Like, this is a wider grip. If it was reused, maybe they kind of fudged it a little bit, but they're very much basically the same. This one definitely looks a lot more the same. This one is definitely this just the exact same mold. But other than that, like, I don't feel like there'd be much point in changing the hands, because we've already seen them on Judge Def here. Let's actually connect the two bases. We have the little posts and these little connector blocks. So let's do it. And I'm gonna need to like add in some small amount of crazy glue to thicken up those posts. Like, obviously I'm not gonna super glue these to the post, but just to add some thick layer to the base stands, because these things keep falling off it. And now, like I said, they stand well on their own, but this is insanely annoying. One thing I will note is that at least with Judge Dredd and Judge Mortis, the stands are exactly the same. They have the exact same texturing and design, all that. It does make it look a little repetitive when you have them side by side. But there you have it. You have Judge Dredd, Judge Mortis, and they look incredible next to each other outside the packaging. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. The ever iconic Judge Fear. Let's get him open. All right, so here we have Judge Fear, and a couple of really interesting things about this one. First of which is that he's probably the most decked out figure of the entire bunch in a lot of ways. One, obviously, he has this real fiber cloth cape. It's insane. It's incredible. I really enjoy it. And he has real metal chains, or at least foam metal chains. He has the most accessories overall. He comes with 3 interchangeable hands. We're going to see which ones are which. He comes with a open bear trap, which I'm not quite sure where that goes. Am I supposed to like hang it somewhere? I know it's supposed to fit in one of his alternate hands, but if I want like to hang it, that's something I'm going to have to find out and sort of fiddle with and play with. Oh wait, no, he doesn't come with 3 extra hands. One of them popped off. Weird. That's a bit weird, but we're going to pop it back on. Hopefully that doesn't mean that the connector is weak. It might, because that came off really easily and it's sliding in really easily. So that makes me a little worried. But it's a great chance to put on one of the alternate hands. And that is actually a lot more snug. Like, hopefully it's just an issue with the main hand. This is a really, really tight grip. So what I'm guessing you're going to have to do is put the chain within the grip. Okay, that's really snug. Like even if it's like a really kind of flimsy chain, he holds on to it really nicely. I just need to like really sort of wedge it in there. See, that's really good. But yeah, something's up with his hand wrist post. I can put on the hand, but you gotta go at an angle, and then you can't really move it without taking it off. So I might need to fix that with some super glue, or maybe even opening up a couple of things, which would be a bit of a shame. Let me check the rest of his articulation. Yeah, pretty nice. Oh, now, other than the hand issue, which I think is going to be pretty annoying in the future, the other 2 interchangeable hands, or at least I guess one of his main hands, they're the same hands. I think what he really makes him stand out is he comes with this really sort of foreboding open finger hand, which none of the others get. So let's pull that one off. And this is going to be really annoying, isn't it? Maybe if I just have him hold it by the blade, that'll be good. Nope, because then it looks really, really awkward. Whatever. It's gotta be better than the alternative, because, like, I don't know. I think that they maybe bit off more than they could chew with that bear trap hand. And these wrists are the most flimsy of the set so far. And I really wasn't expecting that. Because, like, of any of the figures in this set, were going to cause me trouble, it was going to be not the main ones made of regular plastic, I'll tell you that, but we'll see. Hopefully this is an outlier. And the last thing is that he gets, oh god, is that he gets his own unique. Oh god, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. All right, so I'm trying to really sort of get into angle out here. Sorry for the intrusion, but everything is simply annoying. The issues we've had before with the post not really being that secure are only exacerbated by the fact that he has this really kind of flowing cape that keeps getting in the way, and also he doesn't want to hold the accessory because the grip isn't that strong and the wrist pegs aren't that strong. So everything keeps falling off, and it is extremely annoying. I think this is probably the worst of the bunch, which is a shame because he's got one of the most awesome designs. As for the post, I'm definitely gonna have to go through a bunch of these, and that peg, I'm gonna wind that up with some crazy glue. All right, because this is insane. But other than that, he looks incredible. I think that's probably the biggest thing for all these HIYA toys. They look incredible, and I will say that despite all the issues I'm having with Judge Dredd, the one thing you can't say is that it was because they were unambitious or lazy. Like, I think a lot of the issues that we're having here is because this was obviously a very ambitious figure, and maybe things didn't come together all that well because of how much needed to go into it. And like I was trying to say, maybe if I even could have edited this video because I was really sort of fumbling there with this figure, he comes with his own unique stand. Different design, which I think breaks up the look. I might have to switch around which one goes where so that they're not like, standing too close to each other. I really hope nope. Of course it would. Why would it? Why would it? And so there we have it. We have 3 of them all together. And I will say that Judge Fear's cape kind of gets in the way, kind of makes him a little bit more erratic looking than the rest. So we're going to see what we can do to get that sort of situated. But I think they look great as a set. They look incredible. I just wish that this one was just a little bit more fun to play with. This one feels annoying. The other two, fun to handle, really great to sort of pose. Judge Fear, I don't know. Like, it looks incredible. The design is amazing. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot they had to juggle, without a doubt. And I don't think it comes together as good as they probably expected it to, which is a shame. But if you love the look, this is still insanely good. So I'm going to keep the hands separate, and we're going to move on to the final judge of the day. So lastly, we have Judge Fire, and there is a lot going on with him, and I don't know where exactly to begin. All right, so first things first, it's the eyes. That's the first thing I noticed when I got this in the mail. The promo images showed eyes that were sort of part of the same exact wait a minute. Okay, so one thing with Judge Fire here is that he comes with flame effects. What I don't quite like about this is that some of them are very loose. I'm not quite sure if it's because they're broken or if they just don't fit. Okay, I think this is meant to be more kind of an upper leg thing because it doesn't really fit snugly around his kneecap, but it fits more snugly around his upper thigh. And then he comes with one for the arms and the wrists, which again aren't that snug. There's one over here that fits that keep popping up. They keep popping up, so I'm not quite sure. Worried. I think that okay, so I'm gonna say it. The two most experimental ones they don't feel good. They don't. Like, this one has a couple things going against it. One, it's translucent, so who knows how long that plastic is going to actually sort of hold up over time. And two, these flame effects, I know it was probably insane and they had to figure out a way to make sure that this kind of gave off that whole flame effect look. But I would have rather, a more kind of conventional figure than one that is this intense and ridiculous, because I feel like a lot of these are kind of wedging off the more I handle them, and it doesn't feel like it's a cohesive figure, which is insane. Now, a couple of things. It also comes with the very different Judge Fear style stand, so it's good. It means you have 2 different stand types, and so you don't have to have 2 of the same standing side by side with each other. Let's see how Judge Fire stands on his stand, because so far we're not having a lot of luck, and even trying to get him on the stand is popping a couple of these flame effects. Okay, he stands well enough, but let's get back on track. It was the eyes, because everything else here is translucent orange plastic, and it looks nice. Gives up that fire look. And in the original promo pictures, the eye smoke effects were also translucent. But for some reason, now that we have the full figure, maybe it was like a thing that couldn't be done. We have these full orange plastic flame effects. So it looks like he has like a piece of gum stuck. He looks like he has worms in his eyes. It really doesn't come across very well. I know what they're trying to do, like that cold pillowing effect, like it's meant to be more smoke than anything, but it looks awkward and weird and not very impressive. Now he comes with a couple of different accessories. One, of course, is his fire trident staff thing, which is really cool, and with a gripping hand to sort of pull with it. So let's see. Now, will this be something simple to do, or will it be like the bear trap and just be the bane of my existence? And of course, the staff itself comes with its own flame effect. I think I'm just going to have it kind of hanging on slightly below his grip. Now, what I will say is that the flame effect on the staff is a bit more kind of solid coloring than the rest of the figure, so it stands out a bit more, which is a shame. But let's see how that fits in his grip and whether or not he can actually hold it and whether or not these wrists are worth a damn. And, you know, other than that arm effect, that arm flame effect falling off, he's got a nice solid grip on the staff, which is good, which is awesome, which is exactly how it should be, not like flimsy or continuing to like fall off. Now, of course, he doesn't stand on the stand all that well, and I feel like the flame effects are definitely going to be insanely annoying. I might actually super glue those on. I might super glue on the flame effects because I have no idea why anyone would want to remove them in the first place, and they just get really, really in the way super fast. And if you're trying to pose it, you're always going to be touching them, and they're going to just like flick off. So yeah, and like, oh my god, these flame effects suck so much. I get it. I get what they're trying to do, you know? I get it what they're trying to do with fear, and I get what they were trying to do with fire. You know, these are not simple designs. They're really inventive, really fun, really creative designs that Brian Bolland did. Like, I get it. It's tricky to put them into like an actual physical space. But there had to be a simpler way to this. There really did have to be. And it's honestly super annoying to have to really fidget with them like this. Oh my god. And these stands suck so much. They do. We have Judge Fire on his stand. He comes with two alternate hands. One is a slightly more kind of open grip palm hand like the older rest have. It's just been cast in this translucent plastic. And the other is, let me see, like half and half between what Judge Fear had, that kind of open sort of claw hand. So I'm guessing that while, you know, Judge Death and Judge Mortis were part of like at least a similar kind of production lines, and they had like the same, and they even had like the same stands and everything, Judge Fear and Judge Fire, they were more along the same lines in terms of what base mold they were using. So I'm not going to really pay attention or mind these that much in terms of alternate hands. But other than that, yeah, it's nice. I think that Mortis and Death are the best because they're simple, they're fun. You don't have to really worry too much about like what kind of figures they are. Meanwhile, with Fire and Fear, they're just ridiculous. You're like, you know, I'm going to super glue a bunch of this stuff together because as a whole, it's just not worth it that much to like have all these moving pieces. And finally, here on stands that do not fit with some very shaky and maybe a little ill implemented gimmicks are the four dark judges from HIYA Toys. And I really enjoy them. I think it's mainly because I enjoy the characters, I enjoy their stories, I think they're amazing designs. But these figures, oh my god, they leave a lot to be desired. Fear and Fire, it was an uphill battle. I'll give HIYA Toys that. Uphill battle, especially Fire, because like how do you translate that? I think they did the best they could. Translucent plastic wasn't a bad idea. Clip-on fire effects weren't a bad idea. But everything in conjunction with each other, it just made it the most fidgety, the most annoying, the most irritating set of effects and gimmicks put together. Fear, intricate design, like I can see what they want to do. I would have rather this been like plastic. It might have been too heavy, but it would have gone the way less. The wrist, I'm not quite sure if that's just an issue of the QC on mine. Maybe it's not an issue for all the other fears around. But that was definitely insanely annoying. And the grip itself for the bear trap doesn't work. It's too flimsy. The material for the hands is, like I said, this kind of rubbery kind of plastic, so it doesn't have the security that it should. And it's really annoying. Daph and Mortis, great. Overall though, I do really like these figures. And if you're a Judge Dredd fan and you're a fan of the Dark Judges, there's not a lot of options to go around. And I think that, you know, as kind of like the figures and the designs put into plastic, put into a figure form, it's awesome. Like, they're awesome. Like, I can't deny that they're awesome. Even though, like I said, like I just picked it up off the stand without even applying any force or pressure. They just don't fit. I think they're just really cool. And a lot of the ideas are implemented well, at least in terms of the sculpting and molding of this. But yeah, buyer beware. So anyway, I'll have to give this set at least a 6 out of 10. If I had just gone on just how they looked and how they looked like in the packaging, it would have been like a 9, maybe even 10 out of 10. But I have to give it a 6 because there's so much work going on here with the sculpting, the designs, and just how these were created that are just pinpoint perfect for what these characters need to be. But God, they handle so terribly that I can't give it more than that. But yeah, let me know below. Are you a fan of the Dark Judges? Are you a fan of Judge Dredd? Do you think you're gonna pick these up just based on, like, you know, these characters and whether or not you like them? And what do you think of the figures as they are in general? Yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. See you again next time, and have a happy new year. Whether or not this comes out before the end of the year or it's my first video when this comes out, who can tell? I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you again next time, and have a great one.